بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله. نفتتح الجلسة السادسة من جلسات هذا المؤتمر، وهي تتمة للجلسة السابقة التي كانت بعنوان
will be opened now, and then this is the continuation of the previous session. And now the Western perceptions of Hadith and Azami's objections will be talked about, and various Islamic countries and also Turkish participants are here, and distinguished participant Akran Anadih will be our first speaker. He worked as a lecturer, and now we listen to his presentation.
لا، الجلسة الأستاذة الأخيرة ستتكلم بالتركية. صحيح؟
And our last speaker will talk in Turkish.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. فحضرات الأساتذة,
distinguished lecturers, ladies and gentlemen, I'm greeting you all. Our lecturer, Dr. Muhammad Mustafa, I am commemorating his name one more time. He has known by his expertise in this field, and also the other Islamic sciences has been defended by him. And in Riyadh, we got together with him one time, and then in England's Oxford, I also listened to him. I had such opportunities, and then we negotiated about some projects. Some of those projects included the Hadith techniques and their entrance into the computer systems. And I made an interview with him about the texts, and a lot of benefits have been got by us, and also various Islamic and Quran studies have been made, and also it was a good field to talk about. It was such an answer to those other Orientalists. Such works, such writings were about the experts and their wrongdoings, and their fake masks have been removed, and then their history and the size of the hadith, and also the effect of those hadiths upon all those communities are all mentioned. So, from the incomers from Europe, all the workers and their doings have been also negotiated. And seriously, in some places there was a lot of impressions happened, and again I am commemorating him. In 1914 he passed away, and this he actually saw the situation, and there was a result in Aligarh University. We spent some time, and then after his journeys, he went to Turkey, and then he actually also meant the compilation of all those books too, and I also made Arabic translation. And one of the most important topics that he mentioned is the Damusali, and this was one of the most prominent topics about all those criticism and to be able to reveal the truth upon this subject was his duty at that point. And then about the other subjects, he also wrote some other books and also about some representations. He made some symposiums, and there was a person's symposium. He attended there, and also it was in India, and then there was a meeting happened there. And thanks God, all those copyrights have been published, like some criticisms or all the works about Orientalism have been prepared. And he himself also got advantage of all those works, and for himself even he made a lot of efforts. He actually moved forward all those criticism. He went to Cambridge University, and along with all those Orientalists, he spent a lot of time. And because of the fact that he was following those Orientalists, he answered them all. While doing those criticisms, he chose the best examples and he answers them. And about the hadith, there are a lot of publishings happened, and as a summary, before the Arabs entered Islam, they had a tradition. When Islam came, when there was a country of Islam, there were some values, and also there were some mufti people, and they were actually doing some Islamic religious laws. They were providing all those things, and they were talking about the sunnats, and they were talking about the old values. And there was no kind of connection to Islam, but still they saw that there was a community. Regarding that community, they couldn't accept anything, and the starting of this sunnat is dating back to our Holy Prophet's time. And then they actually submitted these qualities. And those community actually invented some fake sunnats. They just did some wrongdoing, so to speak. And there is an invention process. So for that reason, hadiths are some rumors, some fake news. As a summary, the correctness, the trustworthiness of the hadiths have been tried to be proved. No hadiths, as our lecturer said, as a summary, really right. So, about the Islamic law, the true hadiths are correct, and also, apart from that, their correctness wanted to be proved. Other than that, these are all lies. So, this is our result. And as an answer to that here, Shaht, such opponents as Shaht and all those Orientalists have their own thinkings, but they should be honorable, they should be true, and the most divine, significant words should be of those true people. They shouldn't lie, they shouldn't slander, they shouldn't rumor about fake news. And this time here, their characteristics should include all those methodologies, and there shouldn't be any suspicion about their characteristics. And this is not mechanism was actually misunderstood, that complaint. I mean, maybe it was on purpose. Some opponents maybe tried to achieve such a thing, and all those answerers actually mocked about it. So I think the two partners, the two sides couldn't actually understand each other very well, in my opinion, about those hadiths. They are doing all those criticisms, but they are very selective about their methodologies. And I am commemorating our lecture to with mercy. And about Isnad, that complaint, there have been some misunderstandings and misdoings by choosing the wrong sources, so to speak. And then with some incorrect sources, they are doing all of these things. They did those things and they couldn't actually get to the right sources. And for example, Malik's book and Imam Shafi's books, some parts couldn't be understood very well. And here the methodology deficits, as you can see, are by those Orientalists' misdoings. I wrote a lot of things about this field, and I am commemorating his name again. He actually realized those parts very well. And here, what is micro has been to a kind of macro project. It was generalized as such. Professor Schott actually did such a methodology, and it's nothing to do with the scientific approach. And here, from those Holy Prophets' sayings, this school, this école is not acceptable. The fiqh écoles are upon the understanding of the companions. And here, like 1% is looked at and 99% is neglected. So as you can see, there is such a result. It's misunderstood, and all those companions misunderstood the sunnah of our Holy Prophet. They applied that wrongly. It's not so important actually, but still there were some opponents. So Shat chose some examples selectively, and for the result, it actually dispersed those examples. It's like there are no other reports, rumors other than Mahdi. For example, in Damascus, something happens. And Mecca, something happens, and it's forwarded until the point of Iraq. And both of them has different echoes, and also these are differing each other. Our lecturers here followed the way of criticism. There's some benefits of this and also some harmings of this, and among the Muslim people, the weak-hearted people remained, and also to the ones who are posing towards Western world were actually opponents of the Muslim community, and sometimes a serious answer have been made to them, and also they actually encouraged those people about it, so they wanted to correct all those things. And for all those people who had that weak heart, they actually found a result, an answer. For example, if Pakistan wins, they think that all the Muslim people win. So a Muslim expert is overcoming the Western people. And for that reason, it is a good thing for the Muslim world, and most of the Muslim people are happy about it. And here, our lecturer did that, and also other lecturers are negotiating some topics, and so the Muslim people are happy because they have strong presentations, and this is not the sunnat of Holy Prophet, and this is not the way of him correctly. This is to preserve the abjuration process of Islam, and also for all those people who are studying on this field are actually strengthening their own religion. So this abjuration work is actually mentioned. And this method is here for the opponent peoples, but actually these are not educated people. They wanted to know, for example, Buhari, in his time, Muntazire or other movements happened, and despite all those opponents, they didn't want to do anything. But still, they just wanted to transfer the sayings, the sunnats of our Holy Prophet. So this was such a self-confidence to all those communities, and then all those opponents actually had to look at that situation better. So you have 1 minute. Okay, I would like to emphasize this point that hopefully our students will take advantage of this point. Here, between the two sides, there are some suspicions happening, and they are being such opponents to each other, and also they are refusing each other, and there is a philosophical and historical method to be followed. And then, so that means they are looking for an evidence. Even if there is an evidence in Quran, they are looking at the philosophy and history. So they would like to gather some kind of different evidences. So whoever's saying it, like Hazrat Umar or other person, their target is actually attributing. It's a complaint, and also to be able to have an example, they are actually looking at that point. And for all those people who are opponents, history and philosophy were something important in terms of time. And here, the criticism of those Orientalists for some kind of refutations, and they looked at the philosophy only. And also, they approached with a historical background. But the Western world's philosophical approach is also varies. So we should have a look at this with both points. And I wrote a lot of articles, very long, and it's not actually easy to sum up that quick. Thank you so much. We thank you We thank you for your ideas, and actually all of them are so beneficial, and the most eye-catching thing that you mentioned about Fakki and also the techniques are mentioned, and also in another visit hopefully we will organize another seminar.
موضوع شديد الصلة بما تقدم وهو في نفس
Another topic that we are moving forward within the same criticism. Hazrat Mustafa al-Azami's critique of the famous Orientalists. It's a very inclusive approach, and you have 15 minutes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وشرف وأنعم وكرم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أبعد تمام. طيب، عنوان البحث أيها الأساتذة الكرام والأستاذات الكريمات نقد الدكتور الأعظمي.
The beginning of the study, Orientalist Shak's critics of Mustafa al-Azami. Shak's theory says that the old ones are more comprehensive, and this means that in the other side it is growing. According to the Shak's theory, it starts in the 3rd century. This is only the example I want to give. When you look at Isnad, here Imam Malik, Muhammad Zuri, and this is direct narrated from our Holy Prophet, and Zuhridi, and the same of the Isnad from our Prophet. This is very important. According to the theory, these are good at this. In Malik, it says during these falsifications are made at this time. Why? Because according to the theory of if it is the right hadith, this hadith should be according to an isnad, and there should be, and it comes from here, and according to the explanation of Shat, this was, and this is. My question is, it is an innovation, and this is yes, because hadiths are too much in the 2nd century, Mursal and Waqf, and it is muttasil, and they have too many. If you are looking from the 2nd century, and most of them here, like you say, many hadiths from Bukhari and Muslim, there is muttasil, and here so that stopping marfu'i, or when we read this, who died in 1098, Yursili Mawsul. Mostly they are in the 2nd century, and when they wanted this musnad, asked, so Ibn Mari, how good is that only? But however, I am afraid this is from this is always started asking musnad, and there is always maybe it's out of the topic. The Basra school is very important, and of the Shaft it says it comes with a theory. It's not with a new theory, because whatever in Abdurrahman, and they brought this opinion, and the biggest examples is Kitab al-Sitte. 70% is in, and there are examples of the Shaft here.
ظاهرة، لكننا نختلف مع شاخت اختلافا طويلا في تفسيره لهذه الظاهرة. هو يفسرها على أنها كان هناك تزوير من علماء المسلمين في هذا القرن. هو يرى أن هناك تزوير من علماء المسلمين في هذا القرن.
And the Muslim scholars made this falsification, and Dr. Azami there. It is 40 years ago and opened this, and the biggest problem of the shot, and a theory can be made on top of it and approved to all hadiths. And when you work on some of them, and after the statement, ulama is on this and didn't accept this as mursal, and this is very important research, and to every topic. Important point here is we want to improve the theory more, and how does Bukhari is working on this in the 3rd century, and I worked on all of them. I worked on this 183 Mursali, and the biggest problem is they found only one thing, and in the cache, and they don't want to know, therefore, and they said it is certain that Chart and Tatil is built on something concrete. There are 183 hadiths. One of them is from Hazrat Imam, and Bukhari mentioned in the book. And secondly, is Imam Malik Mursal, and thirdly,
القسم الرابع رواه الإمام البخاري مرسلا، رواه الإمام مالك مرسلا، ورواه ابن خزيمة بن حبان كتب سنن المسند أحمد متصلا، واستنكر البخاري البخاري اتصاله. البخاري رجح وصله ولم يقبل اتصاله، وهذا هو في الحقيقة هذه أهم نقطة في البحث، سأوصلها عندما أصل إليها إن شاء الله. الأحاديث التي وصلها الإمام البخاري من طريق مالك في الموطأ، الإمام مالك رواه مسلم
is Imam Malik Mursal, Bukhari, and his Mukhtasar. There is 3 hadiths in this table. Malik. And one says Mursal are too many. And secondly, the Wasili from Hadisi Malik it came, and 12 narrators, and thirdly 13 Ravi, and there is Mudassir, and he picked one of 2, Muttasil or Mursal, because 13 ones should have heard. And according to the ones, if you go 1 store more, and sometimes Malik edit or and secondly is Muwatta, and is Mursal remains so, and they use it in their thesis, and Bayaki is also lived as Mursal, and it remains so, and thirdly, the ones who tell this Bukhari wrote this differently, and it is important, the Mursi, the second Malik ibn Umar, Malik are generally or with someone. So which means that generally the ones mention this more than the Malik, so which means most possibly they started writing this as Mursal, otherwise it will be. So they wanted to make it as Mursal. Of course, we can see many details. Only if you look they make this as Mursal, and 9 is Muttasil. So Bukhari and Mursal can be more true. And this is like Darul Quti said, Malik normally said this is Mursal.
فإن مالكا كثيرا ما أرسل أشياء أسندها علمه من الأثبات، فواضح أن من قصد الإمام مالك أنه يرسل درسنا هذا من الحديث. المبحث الأخير وهو أهم مبحث الأحاديث التي أرسلها الإمام مالك وانتقد البخاري وصفها. هذا أهم شيء، ننتبه إلى هذا. الإمام مالك يرسل أحاديث
Bukhari does not accept it and criticize it.
الإمام أحمد فيروي الحديث موصولا فيرجح البخاري الحديث المرسل على الموصول. هذا يعني في اعتقادي نقد لنظرية شاحن من جهة، وهي لو كان هؤلاء العلماء هذا الجدول عندنا أحاديث ولا نرى الإنسان عادي.
And you can see the table here.
كلها الإمام البخاري رجح فيها الإرسال على الوصل. لو كان الإمام البخاري وهذه الطبقة من العلماء يريدون تزوير الحديث لماذا يرجحون المرسل؟ لماذا يقول المرسل أصح؟ إذا هو في نقده ينتهي إلى أن المرسل هذا أصح من المتصل، إذن ليس من هدفه أصلا أن يزيد رجلا، هذا مستحيل، لأنه هو ينتقد الحديث، وإلا لفرح به. لو كان كذلك لفرح به. وهنا نخرج بالنتائج إذا تكرم علينا
تفضل
أستاذنا الكريم. طيب، واحد، لا يمكن قصد التزوير مع ترجيحهم في كثير من الأحيان للمراسيل، فإن الذي يقصد التزوير بزيادة رجل
because they select multi-seal and who wants to make falsification generally wants to add one more, and the critics looking every hadith separately because the wasal can make a mistake, and while following these books generally they select mursalin, and it is an important text, and especially this is in Hindu Nukfara, and these are very bad tendencies, and it should stop here, but when you add something else, maybe it can drop from the value of the hadith, and there might not be a mistake. There are too many fakis when Imam Malik himself, they didn't reduce it because the tradition, and in some of the laws, some examples here we stop, and when this is asked whether did they do a mistake, no, just they summarize something. They just shortened this, and it comes to these problems. Sometimes they pay attention, there are too many details, and the ones who want to read hadith critics should read them a lot. And the scholars know this very well, so they can get. Thank you for your time.
شكرا للأستاذ الدكتور أحمد صنوبر على التزامه بالوقت. هو
We thank our lecturer only exceeded 1.5 minutes, so we thankful to him. Don't make people say that I give lots of time to my friends, really. And here, like Mr. Ekram said, to mustachiks, we shouldn't answer them. In the long term, it can weaken us, so we need to do more and deepening studies. Maybe we need to read it one more time because there were many. Now the third speaker, Fethuddin Al-Bayani in King's Salt University.
في السنة النبوية دراسة استقرائية في كتابات الدكتور محمد مصطفى الأعظمي. طبعا أشير هنا إلى أن الأستاذ فتح الدين البيانوني هو متخصص في دراسة الاستشراق في الحديث، وقد أنهى الدكتوراه من بريطانيا في هذا المجال، فليتفضل مشكورا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي هيأ للسنة النبوية من يدفع عنها تحريف الغالين وتأويل الجاهلين، والصلاة والسلام الأتمان الأكملان على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين، ورضي الله عن آله وصحابته أجمعين وعمن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. سعادة رئيس الجلسة، أصحاب الفضيلة والسعادة.
Thank you, distinguished the moderator, ladies and gentlemen. In the beginning, I would like to thank everyone who contributes, and you have invited me here, and regarding Mustafa Azami, you wanted me to speak. I didn't have the chance to talk with Azami, but by reading some books, I become their student, Muhaddis here, the Orientalist. I worked for here in Medina Munawwara city. I have read, and while selecting my own thesis, and here Muhaddis and the differences, there has been a comparisonal work, and met a serious support. And here, more than the insight of the hadith, how the work with, and here Joseph shocked. While reading, I have used the critics, especially while doing my PhD dissertation. I got benefit of it.
وقد كانت للشيخ رحمه الله جهود علمية مباركة.
And our distinguished tutor regarding Sunnah, especially, we can talk over four axes. One of them is here Sunnah of Prophet, and secondly in Hadith, the studies of usul, and here discussion of the Orientalist books, and on the other hand the Sunnah of the Prophet, how we can edit into computer and how we can put the computer technology to Sunnah.
ولكن لم أحضر في اليوم الأول على من أيام الاختبارات في المملكة، لذلك جئت متأخرا. فكما تعلمون الشيخ رحمه الله.
I'm late. I couldn't attend the first day because I have job in Riyadh. And in 1932, he got. Also went to the Abant Medrese. Studied in Ali Karat and went to Essar University in Egypt, and in 1955 he got a doctorate, and in Qatar worked as an Arabic student then. And in the Orientalists could read the books, and here started showing the ambition in Mecca Mukarreme and King Saud. And in some of the universities attended as a visiting, and the King Faisal in 1982, and independent, far from sectarian things and working scientifically.
1939 2017 ميلادي. نبدأ بجهود الشيخ رحمه الله. أيضا سأمر عليها مرور سريع قبل أن أصل لما أريد من الموضوع الرئيسي للبحث. المحور الأول التحقيق العلمي، وله عدد من التحقيقات.
The first axis is the scientific study. We have talked about this, and there are many different areas here.
وأخيرا المحور الرابع توظيف الحاسوب حقيقة ولا تشير من أوائل من الشرائع. أما الموضوع الرئيسي فهو معالم الكتابات الاستشراقية في السنة، وقد حاولت أن أذكر.
And our main topic is the Orientalist, the critics method, and regarding an important point, turning back to Orientalist books and reading from there, and some universities and some topics regarding mustashriks. If this topic in the divinity or religion or no background, and Orientalist will be seen. Therefore, with our nice translator, but he lacked religious information, so the translation was no good, and who works in the Orientalist area should read directly and should know the language, whatever the main language is. Here in the books of our tutor and English language I have learned while child and young, and here writing English from own sources directly, taking those references. And here we can see this mustashrik and Orientalist study should get from the sources. And the second mechanism here, and Orientalist, their suspicion regarding Islam and regarding Sunnah also, and the methodology here is the generally critics and not getting what is the critics in Sunnah are very important, and here sometimes we should avoid suspicions because we need to get it. I'm writing for the critics of Shakt now. Showing Quran as proof against these questions, but Allah Ta'ala to His Prophet how to depend in Quran. To Orientalist here, even if they don't believe, if they believe it's not the revelation, and to the first founding, even if they teach it. And Azami also highlighted this, and a person who is not Muslim might be questioning, so should return to this book again, and so that understand how we can answer this with what Muslim believes, and there are a difference. Therefore, he needs to look from what he believes. Otherwise, he shouldn't be working here. The shocked, especially, and secondly, the methodology mistake of shock. This is unacceptable. And here, Azami, while answering, getting the answers from there, and here the law and Sharia, and here by getting the fourth of it. Some of the Orientalist critics using for other Orientalists.
وربما كانت تلك الطريقة أكثر إقناعا للقارئ الغربي الذي يثق بالباحثين من بين قومه أكثر من ثقته بغيرهم، حيث يقف على آراء أخرى في المسألة تشككه بالرأي المخالف أو تقلل ثقته به على الأقل.
And at least
توصل إليها بعضهم غير مسلمين.
It was not made it unimportant, and our tutor here looked to these data to in front, and here the three topics here doesn't give importance, and but shot, for example, says it is completely true, Colson, and shots to keep away the mind. It says it is out of mind, and Shah didn't use this, and this rationalism and this method. And here in the historical events, using these as especially here the claims of the Orientalism, there is historical events, and making this in a very clear way, he says, if it comes to a new constitution, Islam, and if this is it theoric or really rationalist book?
للقضاء بأمر منه عليه الصلاة والسلام. سابعا، بيان الأخطاء المنهجية في كتابات المستشرقين. فالتزام الباحث العلمي بمنهج البحث ضرورة أكاديمية لا يمكن تجاهلها، والمنهج العلمي الصحيح يكفل سلامة سير البحث وصحة النتائج التي يتوصل إليه.
For researchers, it is a must. Here, researcher, if didn't format on research, so this is a serious mistake, and shot also the research mistakes, and also our tutors told this, so I won't be telling, using the sources directly.
تجاهل الواقع والمعلومات المخالفة، قلب الحقائق وتزويرها، وكل هذا له أمثلة الحقيقة من كتابات الشيخ رحمه الله. أخيرا، ثامنا، مراعاة الأدب العلمي في النقد. الالتزام بالأدب العلمي
And 8, while making critics to scientific ethics, which is not saying something bad. And also in the Azami books, as we see, there is a serious level of halak. And for example, while talking about shaht, he says Professor Shaht. And Muslims and Orientalists, and even between the Muslims with the same religion and their critics say a small punto, and this is shows hating about it.
تناول البحث الشيخ وتوصل لأهم النتائج، وهي أولا بيان مكانة الشيخ علميا.
And lastly, Azami's scientific place here, and Azami in the modern age, the first in the Orientalist among them, and here and for the next generation, because the mustashriks regarding them writings is not only end with the shaht, it continues afterwards. Therefore, this should be continued and read, and the lecturers project here regarding the Sunnah, especially regarding the usage of the computer, how we can get benefit of it. And lastly, I'm telling to our tutor and the best way, and he awards him, and thank for the organizers for inviting me. Thank you.
نشكر جميعا الأستاذ الدكتور فتح الدين البيانوني على ما تفضل به وأفاد وأجاد حقيقة.
We thank our distinguished lecturer for their, and what is most important of their speaking, methodologically we need to answer, and it's a methodological structure. And now Raila Kızılkaya from Marmara University.
الأعظم من اتجاهات المستشرقين حول تأليف الموطأ، فلتتفضل مشكورة.
شكرا أستاذ. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Öncelikle henüz lisans birinci sınıf.
First of all, as a postgraduate first class student, while Al-Azami came to Istanbul and made a lecture, I think as the only postgraduate student I got this chance, and today once more by commemorating our lecturer. And in 2006, when you came here, as a person decided for, I told him that I want to work for ISNAT, and he said, okay. And just like our lecturer Ahmet mentioned, starting from, I told him that I want to work. And again in 2010, with the opportunity of Umrah, we seen him in Medina, and at the moment I told him that I decided to work on Matta, and along with this, really how much as to I thank God. It's not enough today, but commemorating him and understanding him. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Hilal Aybakan for giving this chance, and Ibn Haldun University. My topic is Orientalist accusations Muhammad Mustafa Al-Azami's approach to Orientalist claims on the completion of Muwatta, and Hamza al-Bekri introduced this last day and his topic regarding Muwatta and Kevseriye. I had this chance, and today before me and in the same presentation hopefully will be theoretically understanding the theoretical level both for you, and hopefully it will give a time for me. And regarding Quran and Hadith, the Indian origin Muhammad Mustafa Al-Azami, first of all, with the books he wrote and with his arts and his diligent works, he is known, and who knows the mentality of the Orientalist and also knows the Azami, and in the first volume is Muwatta and Imam Malik, and it was understanding this completion. And in the sixth section of the volume, when there is in the Sharkiyat literature, one of the Orientalists, Norman Calder, studies in early Muslim jurisprudence, he summarized this, and later on top of the Muwatta, gets this in details, and lastly
onun araştırma yaptığı alana uygun karakterde eserler seçmeyişi sebebiyle tenkit etmektedir ki bunu daha önceki oturumlarda pek çok
in the previous session many of our lecturers shared this. She's just reading, and reading cannot be simultaneously interpreted. She's not presenting, she's reading. Actually, the methodology of Calder is taking him to wrong approaches, and with a limited resource, the results are generalized in the first 3 centuries. Azami criticizing this for that purpose, and in the Islam law and hermeneutic works, Norman Calder, in his early Muslim jurisprudence, mentioned the early history by making them, especially Imam Ebu Yusuf, Kitabul Haraj, Şeymani, El-Haclı, El-Medine, and Imam early history, important ones are, these are analyzed accordingly, and he's questioning according to Calder, Muwatta in 250 and 270 in these 20 years created in Kurtuba, and put the last version by Yahya bin Yahya, and Joseph Schatz by adapting to the development chronology, and Calder by comparing this Müdevvet. Therefore, he finds this solution, and in order to support this claim, many of the claims are Muwatta and Müdeyni. It's a chronological process, and most important evidence of this is what we reflected the Calder's Ket Hadith regarding the ablution water form analysis, and Calder in Merfu Hadith from the Müdevvene And the set Merfu hadith is not in Müdevvere, so both of the arts are evaluated like the previous speakers mentioned. This is a result of this evidence. Actually, this is used for Orientalists and also Orientalists. The opinions and critics as a result over the Esilanto value, the author, the date, and the geography. When we check this all together, completely differently positioned from the Muslim authors. This dating, as you see, for many of the historians are criticizing this. However, among these, with the Mukaddime, Azami, because he is in the Orientalist literature, he is and the issue that these musnads are more likely to be selected when writing the hadith, this is one of the most referred. And on the Muratta we can say, however, Azami nearly in all of them has taken this in details, and in the Muwatta Tahqiq to answer caller, it's a good opportunity. So in details, so this historian of Azami, what are the critics of Azami and Imam Mali Islam importance and important determinations, and the relevant Tahqiq and Mukaddime Hamza Bekri went in more detail, and in the relevant part, like he placed them, and especially Calder used, for example, the dog makes ablution water dirty, giving it full, and what is also called the cat hadith, and which is known as the dog hadith, so it should be cleaned 7 times. They are separately mentioned, and of these 2 hadiths, it is being criticized. And according to Azami, the kalp hadith to be muatta, and without using it or without giving, only giving and assess the comments of Calder, and this mistake of Calder, Mr. Azami mentioned this, and in the Orientalist paradigm and important names, so with this opportunity and the methodology, they should be used otherwise, like in seen in Calder. Another issue, Calder's the only stage this possible result to all an Islamic civilization in early time. It is also, and of this mistake, the other Orientalists are coming for this mistake, and Azami also criticized Calder not to get benefit of the analysis which enlight, and as Calder going for Orientalist, don't use only use materials for his case, and Calder actually is aware of these but ignore these. But according to Azami, in the Eastern geography, in the Muwatta narration, and this case accordingly, Calder regarding the Muwatta dating, both the Sünnet-i Nebevi theory of the person, which the isnads are Mürsel and Mevku Maktuf form, and in the next centuries they are Muttasıl Merfu variants, and the arts are mostly like this. And lecturer Azami on Muwatta gives the necessary answers. In Müdevvere, Imam Malik in the Muwatta only turning to Ravi, and again the Merfu narration in Muwatta is according to the Orientalist paradigm. So there are many Menkus Maktu hadith, even though, and in Calder's opinion, Müdevvere when compared with Muwatta, as they have more, and it comes before Muwatta. And Azami, after the accusations of Calder and response, and you see the geography, and according to Azami, the ket hadiths are in the Muwatta. Both early history in many sources and also in Kutubi Sitte, in most of the Kutubi Sitte it exists, and these are the sources of Azami.
Azami Calder'ı bilinçli olarak kaynakları görmezden gelmekle suçlamakta ve onun Muvatta'nın terör tarihiyle ilgili iddialarını bu şekilde
by this way
cevap vermekte. Şimdi söz konusu hadisle ilgili Azami Hoca'nın zikrettiği tariflere ilaveten daha şu hadisleri tespit ettim.
Because I have determined these hadiths. The first hadith from Sabi stage, Ebu Hureyre, Ayşe and Katade in this first slide, from Ebu Katade and Ebu Hureyre pets, and in this slide Hazreti Ayşe pets. We do see these are the other than the pets of Azami, along with the additional paths in the right side. You see that is not is showing only Imam Malik, and therefore the hadith we mentioned, and when we look at to the paths of Imam, and when we look at these both Calders mentioned these for 300 years, and this is an opposition to that, and the works of that era, this hadith is included, and the relevant works shows it, and in different geographies. So, starting from what does Azami says, these Selefs, Gorgier, Schacht, and these revisionist Orientalists, Norman Calder, for the time Muwatta is written, at least 1 century later, in the Orientalist paradigm, they are in a serious discussion. We see this over Calder. Most of them
hadisleri anlama
the relevant Orientalists regarding understanding the hadith and including these dates the same way with the similar method. The works are dated over colder, and like in TFD and also in the hadith area, Azami's evaluation, what makes them important, the most important thing is both Orientalist claims and in the early time Wukufiyet is one of the most important reason for these studies. This capacity is the analysis of finding the mistakes of Calder, and it makes impossible to criticize Calder, and Azami criticizing Calder over Muwatta critics, and for the early story manuscript and Muwatta narrators and completion he focused on, and he brought more focused evidences. This method is an example for Islam scholars and also for the ones who take Orientalists, and for this purpose this scientific heritage from Azami should be improved and continued, and the claims of the Orientalists nearly in all the studies he take into consideration, and in today's researchers questions are answered with Azami's method, so we need it. Thank you so much.
نشكر الدكتورة راحلة كزل كايا يلماز على ما تفضلت به في هذا البحث المفيد حقيقة.
We thank very nice presentation now from Moldav's patent, and regarding the writing date, it's a historical and important topic, but this is in the fiqh and hadith. There is a serious ground, and
قضايا المدار الإسناد أيضا لها صلة في ذلك الموفق وقضايا أخرى كثيرة في مجال الفقه أيضا مسألة.
And the hadith regarding Muwatta writing, it's regarded, and there are other topics too, but of course regarding Muwatta we will be talking about it, and it's a very important topic, and the lady presented very nice, and if there is a question, one or two questions we can get due to lack of time if you have questions, if not.
مباشرة أنا أدعو الأستاذ سردار دمرال لتسليم الشهادات. تفضل أستاذ.